Streamgeeks Live, the show where we talk about one thing and one thing only: live streaming. A high-definition broadcast brought to you by your hosts, the Streamgeeks, Paul Richards and Tess Protesto. Available via video on Facebook and YouTube Live, plus via audio on our podcast cast channels on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher Radio. Streamgeeks, the tech geek source for the latest in live streaming and video production. Let's get started.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Streamgeeks Live.
I'm Tess Protesto.
And I'm Paul Richards.
Today is all about engaging your audience before, during, and after your show. How to start your show off with a bang.
Yes, it's so important. There's a new Facebook API all about making that work properly and connecting with your audiences and letting them know that you're prepared. It's going to be a high-quality stream, and listen to your audience. And we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today. Some fun segments.
Yeah, so let's start off with the timing aspect of starting your show off with a bang.
Yes.
You want to be prepared as soon as, the red light goes on and you are live.
Yeah, so there's a couple different things that you can help with that. One is you can schedule your live stream to go off on a specific time. So that's what we do. Yep. Just to give people time, we usually do like 2 minutes before our pre-show and have a countdown timer. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about some of those different techniques that we use. But the new Facebook API, working with Wowza and a few other hardware partners, they're building in this frame accuracy to start specifically on a single spot. So in the commercial, at least, which I'm going to show the commercial, basically there's a guy with a director who goes, "You're live," and they know that it's going to go live. So
yeah, something I've noticed, and we've talked about this earlier today, is when you're going live on Facebook specifically, mm-hmm. I've often noticed that while the counter is still on, say, 8 seconds, we are already live, and the viewers then are hearing a little bit of our post-live chit-chat, yes, if you will. So that's what the new YouTube API is coming out with, right? To solve
the new
that
Facebook
issue?
API.
Oh,
yes.
Excuse me, Facebook API.
Yeah, so it's frame. There's three main things. So there's an automated encoder configuration, which is a little strange to me, but I'll explain what it is. So basically, Facebook will have an API built into various platforms, whether it be Wirecast or vMix, or Wowza is definitely one that's shipping today with this, and it automatically configures your settings. So if we're doing 720p and 1.5 megabits per second, which is what we're streaming to Facebook now, it would you wouldn't even have to choose it at all. It would just say, oh, how much bandwidth do they have? What is Facebook's servers looking like? Okay, we're going to automatically choose the best settings for you, so it's the highest quality. That's the idea.
Okay, and that's going to solve the issue with, hey, it caught some of my conversation before I
That's just the first feature. The second feature is called frame accurate start times. So you can set a start time to be exactly frame accurate. And that, again, is going to be something that's need to be supported by your hardware/software. Some of this stuff is being released in an API, and as we know, Facebook will release it, and it could take, vMix, Wirecast, NewTek, Livestream Studio, months to actually incorporate some of these things.
Gotcha.
But that is one. And then the last thing I just threw in here, this is not new, but the thing that makes Facebook Live so amazing is the live reaction questions. And that's something that's really been giving them an edge for a long time.
Yep.
And I just... there's some really cool things like the comments, all the cool API stuff with Facebook. I have to say they've done a great job with their API, and this is just a little bit more that they're throwing in there.
Yeah. So what's important when it comes to timing and making sure you know exactly the second when you are live is so that you can be prepared and ready to engage your audience at that time. Takes away from them a little bit of confusion. Who am I watching? Why am I here? Type of thing. And, it just gives you the opportunity to address your audience at that exact moment when they are seeing you.
Yeah, and so with that being said, we wanted to take you through our kind of live show process of how we try to start off as best as possible with a bang. So the first thing this is kind of new, I can't believe it took us so long, is we have some pump-up music.
Yeah, we like to just get in the spirit, get in the vibe, get the creative juices flowing. So we prepared a fun playlist of pump-up jams for us to kind of rock out to while we're prepping for the show. And it really, and as silly as it sounds, it really hypes up our rapport,
Yeah. So with that being said, and you've probably watched some of our other shows, you know about copywritten material. A lot of the pump up music that we like to listen to is from our favorite bands or whatever.
We're not streaming yet.
We're not streaming. This is half hour before we even start the pre-show. We will go ahead and start playing some cool music. So we're getting in the zone. We're feeling good. And then we start what's called the pre-show, and we always have a countdown timer. Because you don't want to confuse your audience of, is this the pre-show? Why are they not, what's going on here? Because we've made that mistake maybe once or twice, but we know not to make that mistake.
With live streaming, it's really nice and important to have a pre-show. It's a time for you to kind of test, so you don't have to be perfectly perfected yet, especially for the recorded on-demand version of your live show. And it also is kind of, for us, a relaxed, fun time where we get to greet all of the people coming into our chat room. And that's also where you're going to give a teaser of what you're talking about during the show.
Yes, and the people that do this best have an incredibly engaging pre-show, and the pre-show on YouTube can actually be edited out. So when you have that on-demand piece of content with all that view time and views and all of the great algorithm tips that you're giving to YouTube with your live video, you can trim off the pre-show. With Facebook, you cannot. So having this frame accurate start time is really important because, you might want to boost that video. It might live on for a long period of time. And that content, you want to have a great start and a big punch, because the first 10 seconds of a video are when people are evaluating, especially in today's world, am I going to keep swiping or am I going to keep watching?
And from a marketing standpoint, to add on to benefits of a pre-show, that's also when I have my scheduled email go out.
Yes.
And the scheduled email has the link to where the viewers can watch the show. So it gives your viewers a couple minutes to get settled in before the actual show starts, but it also gives them the link to the show before the show even happens, because you can't really find a scheduled YouTube stream on someone's YouTube channel. That's something I've noticed. You have to go and be able to be in the creator studio.
You can create a playlist of upcoming scheduled streams, but it's not really, all these platforms are still not. And the fact that Facebook is still starting to come out with frame accurate starting time shows you how young this industry is. Some of the things that, in a broadcast world and the television world have been around for years are still being brought into the live streaming world, yet when the video we're going to show you in a little bit, with Facebook really doing, bringing their production level up and allowing companies and anybody to broadcast live for free, the need for quality has never been really as strong. I feel like people really want good quality.
Right. If you want to engage and keep your audience, content above all is what's most important. But to help add on to your credibility and whatnot, it's nice to have a professional, diverse in terms of, images that you're using, overlays, intro, outro type of thing. It's really good to have. That kind of brings us into the actual show itself.
Yeah, at that point, we're getting into the show, and the thing that you just can't screw up is a good intro video. Short, fun, to the point. I think our Streamgeeks one's like 45 seconds, which is really long. I still think it's cool, and I think it's okay. Maybe it's a little too long, personally. But we have one made with an After Effects template, Adobe After Effects, and then we get a nice voiceover. We try to tell our story as quickly as possible and jump into the show. So when you've got that countdown timer and it hits 0, remember, if you're doing it or someone else is doing it, hit that play button immediately, let people know this is the beginning of the show.
Make sure your pre-show music is turned off. Something we've learned the hard way. Time after
very
time.
Good tip.
Yeah, so that's important. And that also allows your users to know, hey, the show's beginning. Time to go.
So that is where we go ahead and try to keep the energy rolling. And one of the things we've learned here on almost all of our shows is that we have an agenda that we have printed out. So it's really, even though you might think that you know exactly what you're going to talk about and you're a complete expert, it really doesn't hurt to, especially if you're working with another person, to know exactly where you are in the agenda and what you're going to talk about. So we've always got one of those.
From an organizational standpoint, the agenda is key. Especially if you get lost, you can kind of look to it and get back on track.
Yep. And if you're like us, you see we have an automated playlist. I was looking at the pre-show and someone said, wow, that automated playlist is a little bit distracting. So I ran in and changed it so there's only it's a 3 cameras. So a front camera, a side camera, and a close-up. And I just throw that in there because a lot of people out there might not have someone operating the show for them. So if you're like us, it's just me and Tess here. We've got a button pad that we can press buttons and go ahead and do a couple things like maybe show the chat room, for example. But it's just us, so having an automated playlist as that extra camera, quality of video production, but we can still stay focused on our agenda.
Right. It just takes a little bit of that pressure off of us.
Twice in one day, says Tom Eccentrics. Yeah, we had the early morning show,
We did.
a little random stream today.
That's so funny. So just basically some things that you might want to think about incorporating into your live show is images, video clips, overlays.
Desktop capture is a great one. So if you've got a secondary monitor, you can just use it as like a workspace, and you can put whatever you want on there, bring it into your live show. We're going to do that in a little bit.
Yeah, and that kind of gets into what we had a whole show on this, some pre-recorded content. Implementing that into your live stream can be very valuable. Having guests can also add to the value of your show, as well as segments. That helps organizationally, and it's something that your viewers can fall back on. They know what to expect from your show each week. Speaking of keeping the energy rolling.
Let's keep it rolling. The next thing we were going to talk about is I wanted to show the new video from Facebook that shows what they're doing. And just really want to quickly share this. Here's a little desktop capture. This is the video. Just tell us what you think about this. We won't play any audio with it, but basically the live API updates, I love the marketing here. So they're showing multiple cameras. This is the new Wowza encoder. That's that automated encoder configuration. So you plug it in, you pair the device with Facebook, and boom, it's automatically going to choose the highest quality stream it can do. The other thing is see the frame accurate start times. 3, 2, 1. Of course, there's buffering.
That's really exciting for me.
But that's the, we're getting a little buffering here. 3, 2, 1. And then the guy points and goes, you're live. So he's got a little, see, I think maybe it's that little countdown. I'm not fully sure what it is yet, but I believe you'll see a countdown timer that will tell you exactly when you're going to be live. So it's synced with the encoder. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom, you're live. And you're live, and then the show starts. So you can really start with a bang, and everybody's happy.
Yeah, and you're prepared above all.
So just wanted to show that. That gives us a little bit of an idea of what to expect from Facebook. Facebook is the biggest live streaming platform in the world.
Crazy.
And it just
I'm
started last
surprised.
week.
Facebook over YouTube.
Mike Lott is saying, suggestion, add a little bit more light. I agree.
We went dark today.
We
went to the dark side.
decided to go dark to see if it would be a little edgier. But you're right. I think if we're gonna do,
Especially from this camera.
Yeah. If we decided that we're gonna do something edgy, do a little bit darker, we do have a little back hair light.
We're a little bit more experimental with Streamgeeks.
Yeah. Normal. If this was the PTZ Optics live show, we would definitely have more light. But we could just, we could hit a switch and get a little bit more light. That's a good question.
We love Jeff Kale.
Yes.
You can find his music on SoundCloud.
Jeff C. Kalle. But you know what we do a lot of is we watch our favorite vloggers like Casey Neistat or Gary Vaynerchuck or some of the guys out there. They always list who they're using, and it's almost always copyright free, royalty free music. So all the artists want you to do is to just say who it is. So that's a
lot of them
source.
offer or say you can donate, and we have donated to them.
You can do donations
when we
as
take
well. Their
music.
Yeah. So we can send us an email. We can tell you a whole bunch of different ideas for that. Segments. So we're going to do the live video moment of the week.
Keeping the show rolling.
Yes, we had to keep it rolling. We've got a video moment of the week.
And now it's time for our live video moment of the week.
Okay, so for our live video moment of the week, we are going to take you to
Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. And we're just going to show you a little bit of
VMix Fun Time.
VMix Fun Time show, just a little.
I'm
And
filling in the blank for Paul today.
Tess is helping me out here. Here's the show
You're
here.
producing. It's hard.
And it was actually live just a few moments ago. Actually, wait, this is not it. It was, let's see if I can find it. Oh, that's 1 week ago. Here it is.
I saw it
Did it
on
disappear?
Facebook.
Oh, they must have streamed it to Facebook.
I think that they streamed to Facebook.
Then we'll just basically they went over all the cool stuff at. Let's go to VMix's site real quick. They showed off all the cool stuff that was going on at IBC.
We like to highlight some of our favorite live shows, and VMix, we use their production software, and we love it, of course. But their show is actually really fun to watch. The two of them have a great dynamic. And yeah, we just like to share the love with some of our favorite shows. So you have to check
take a look at that. Check it out. It just came out today. And we figured we'd use that for our live video moment. Seemed like they had a hell of a time actually getting the stream started because I kept on getting live notifications. And
they actually bumped their stream down to 480 because they were having
that's what they
bandwidth
did.
issues.
Yes, they bumped it down to 480.
And Tim made a funny comment. He said, I'd rather be seen in 480 than 4K.
Yeah.
And that hit home for me. I was like, preach, because that is me. I mean, I know 4K is good and all, but it's like, you don't need to see all of what's going on here.
They haven't uploaded the shows yet to YouTube.
Oh,
says
okay, it's
Thomas
processing.
Hendricks, so that's what's
It literally just happened. Good point,
Got
Thomas.
Good point.
Should we move to our branding quotes of the week?
Branding quotes of the week.
picked
This is
some
my
fun
this is one of my favorite favorite stuff here. Here's one that I actually sometimes I go to the Streaming Idiots Facebook group and pull some things here. This is from Steve Jobs. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify them, vilify them. But the only thing you can't do is ignore them because they change things, they push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who often do.
Wow.
So that's from Steve
That's what helps
Jobs.
Paul sleep at night.
And Richard Ignacio says, sometimes this is how I feel about live streaming. And unfortunately, there is no one box that you can buy that's going to give you what you need to live stream. It's so many different pieces and
Is
things.
that what that quote's saying?
Well, that's what I think Richard Ignacio was saying. This is how he feels.
Oh, in response to
In
the
response
Steve Jobs
to that,
quote.
yeah. And Richard Ignacio is a really big
Yeah.
water skier. I'm hoping to have him on the show soon. But that's kind of what it feels like a lot of times. Like, it's just nothing is going to be perfect. It's not going to all work. But if you miss a year's worth of live streaming, you're missing out on a huge opportunity.
We can certainly vouch for that for the company that we work for. And putting yourself out there is really difficult with live streaming. And, you know, you're afraid of failure because we often fail. We have issues all the time
we
that
failed
we
some
have
streams.
to overcome live.
Like,
There's
it
a
was
lot
like
of
last
pressure in
week,
that.
I think.
Yeah, exactly.
We had a problem.
But it's been way more beneficial for us.
Yes,
and
we've
our
learned
jobs.
so much. And one of the things Tess has made like a mantra, like never cut the live stream, however bad it gets. Just try to get through it. And
Never
we've
cut
gotten
the live stream
through
unless it cuts you.
multiple live streams. Yeah,
Unless it dies.
If the stream cuts you, then try to rebroadcast. So we've had multiple streams that have like utterly failed.
And what we've found, especially with our audience, maybe they're just forgiving because they're like tech junkies like us. But they love working through the issues with you, and they also like connecting with you on a personal level as they see that you're human as well. And I think they appreciate that.
Now, we don't necessarily, most of our customers, you know, if you're a big brand, you don't want to have tech issues. And Wowza was saying in their video that like something like 70% of live streaming video productions experience some technical issue. So you just have to know that it's going to happen. You have to prepare as much as possible, test. Like we even had like 7 of the top live streamers, like Tim from VMix, Andrew from Wirecast, Tom Sinclair from Eastern Shore Broadcasting, the guys from Stream Dudes. They all gave us some tips. I don't know if you remember seeing that, like 7 tips.
Yeah,
from
you have
this
an
top.
article on it.
And almost all of them said test, and then test one more time because it's just the world we live in.
Yeah, if nothing else from today's show. That's probably one of our highest recommendations.
And we probably, I mean, I was looking at the lighting on here too, and I thought that I was like, this is cool, this is edgy, so that's what we're going for. We probably could have added a few more lights, but
yeah. One of the things we didn't mention about, keeping your show engaging is just using the audience in themselves.
Yeah.
Asking them questions, trying to, like the Facebook Live reactions that we use when we stream to Facebook. Asking them questions, asking for their participation. They're there. If they're staying with you, they want to participate, and they're interested in what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Should we ask them a question?
We should ask a question. Not prepared, which that should be on our agenda.
Let's ask a question. What is your favorite thing we do, if you're familiar with the show, on Streamgeeks or PTC Optics Live? Whether it's a segment, whether it's a image we use every time, whatever your favorite part is, especially if it's something we got rid of. Let me know in the chat.
We would love to know that, because we're always trying to. We've actually got some really cool things that we're going to show today too. So we're not going to ramble on. We've got a ton of cool stuff, and if we can tell us what we're doing right, we'll just do more of that.
Absolutely.
Random tech fact of the week. So the next thing, of course, we have all these segments. Here we go.
And now it's time for our random tech fact of the week.
Boo! Okay, so random tech fact of the week. Found this from Jeff Gearing, and I'm going to show the article. He found a way to run XLR cables over Cat5. And I really want to show this because I thought it was very important for... The challenge is basically that you can run... that people want to run hundreds, maybe 200 feet cables of Vox two-way communication headsets with an ambient microphone. So mics and headsets to be used for broadcasting a major, event. And the limitations are, people have tight budgets. They need to install this. Maybe on a time constraint, and they could be working with a church that has 200-year-old, stone walls or masonry. So he was able to already have Cat5. A lot of times these category Cat5 cables are already run, the Ethernet cables. Mm-hmm. There could be one here, could be one there. People just seem to run them everywhere. So a lot of times they're already there, and he was able to, and I'll just kind of go through here.
XLR over Cat5.
Yes. So XLR is like the microphones that we plug into over an Ethernet cable. So this is the jeffgeerling.com. And he created a great little show. Look at that church. Beautiful, beautiful church. It must be so difficult to run cables and something like that.
Yep.
And make sure you're not...
Access.
Oh, my gosh.
Permission.
So this is what he did. I guess there's a male cable and the female cable. And it's all here. We're not going to, spend a whole time on it. But in the finished look there, he's got two little plates that he can just plug in and out of. And that's from the control room. And that's from the, in the church there. And he goes over the whole thing. So we're just trying to pull some really great tips from, that was from Streaming Idiots. That's where I've been kind of fishing for all these great things. And
I'm loving the
that's
chat room
just
right
an
now.
idea.
Sorry,
Tess is loving the chat room.
Thomas loves that we moved next to each other. He said it's the best decision we made.
That's good. And we have a new
People love the physical set.
Yeah, the real set I think was probably that's totally right. That probably was the best thing we ever did.
Yeah.
We got rid of
MK Webinar likes our honesty and enthusiasm. And that goes to speak to the point of sticking with your streams even when you're having troubles, kind of showing that transparency, because I think it happens to a lot of people. I mean, we're supposed to be the professionals, so it is humiliating when stuff happens. But our audience has had a positive reaction to it, and we really appreciate that. Yes. And they help us half the time.
They help us. And we didn't even mention this, but you've said it a few times. The pre-show is that moment where people are always telling us, hey, turn up your mic, turn that up.
Mike Lotta.
Forgot to turn the light on or whatever. So the pre-show can really help you. And I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but YouTube has the more techie people, and Facebook might be the more homey people, if you will. And so because the fact that you can do your pre-show on YouTube and trim it, you get to have that connection with those people who are more technically inclined.
Too, because it goes away.
Right? And it goes away, it's exclusive, and hopefully, you can be as lucky as we are and have some technically inclined people help you during the pre-show.
Mm-hmm. Mike knows what we're talking about now. Radio Catapult 4-channel Cat5 Audio Snake.
Whoa.
I don't know what language that is, but I'm lost.
I want to show you guys something.
Translate.
I want to show one more cool thing in regards to what Mike just said. So we're getting a ton of great information from our audience all the time. And one of the cool things I just wanted to show really quickly is we actually have all of our chats actually stored on our server. So this is our WordPress server. So we can go back, and actually that's not a good example because that was probably just a test one. We can go back and take a look at all of the chats. At least we should be able to. And so that it's all being recorded so we don't have to so because if you say something
valuable
great, we miss it.
conversations, and sometimes we don't have time to read everything, we can go back and make sure we address those questions and at least read over your advice and comments.
Yeah, a lot of times that's where I'll go back and say, what was that thing that Mike was telling us about? Because we are going to be building a new studio in the next few months, let's just say, and we're going to need a lot of tips and help to build that and make it the best studio ever because we have a good budget to do it. We just don't have the knowledge that everyone else does about how to make them. So, super tool. Oh, and the other super tool I wanted to show. One more super tool of the week here. Here we go, super tech tool of the week.
And now it's time for the super tool of the week.
Okay, so here's the show here, and the thing I wanted to show was
there's us right now.
We can go
Never
ahead
done this before.
and if you hit quality, wait, where was it, Tess?
It was down in the cog.
Yeah, I hit the cog.
But no, not that one. Oh yeah, no, it is that one.
I thought that there was a way to, that was the WordPress plugin. Yes, William. I'm reading the chat from here. I thought there was a way.
Where's
can you
the
do
stats
it? Can
for
you do
geeks?
it there? There was something called Stats for Geeks.
It was right here in the
And
cog.
The cog's not showing it
Oh
now?
no, you have to right click it.
Oh, you have to right click the cog. That's what it is.
Stats for nerds.
So here we go. You go ahead and take it, you right click, and then see it says Stats for Nerds.
Oh yeah.
Then you can go ahead and see all of the stats on the latency and all that stuff. So that's the super tool. I didn't know that existed. And
we learned that tool from the audience last week.
Yes. Who told
Never
us
knew.
about that?
I honestly
Do you
don't
remember?
And if you're here, take credit.
Take credit if you're here. That's a really cool, because that's like hidden. That's like a hidden YouTube
I
live
love
tool.
that they call it Stats for Nerds too. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, we belong here.
Stats for Geeks, is what I should say. Stats for Streamgeeks. So,
William, yes, it
that's
was a
our super
WordPress
tool.
plugin.
Okay, next.
Thomas is
So,
right.
for those of you who might think 3D live streaming was a fad or whatever, we keep bringing you some cool 3D streaming stuff. This one is actually worth your time, I think, because of how funny Tess is in this video clip. So we'll just
great.
go ahead
This is my
and
embarrassing moment of the week.
3D live streaming. You're gonna see more stuff of like this. We're just 2 minutes. It's 1.5 minutes. Okay, we updated you guys last week on Streamgeeks about a little 3D streaming. Just want to show you. So there's the camera again. We have the 3D camera, and here is vMix again streaming the 3D content. These are our guests here who are streaming, and then we're going to take you to the back and look at this. This is going to YouTube, right?
Yep, we're going from vMix, well, from the 3D camera into vMix, out of vMix to YouTube Live, out of YouTube Live into another PC that we're using to pull it, and then up to a 3D LED display.
What he said.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, let's go in the back. Tess, you stay here. You're going to be our 3D model.
No problem.
All right, so we'll take you to the 3D display, which is in the back of our office. And just a quick update. Probably wouldn't see this anywhere else because this is fairly new stuff. We're going to go back to the giant 3D LED display and see if it's working. So, right now what you're seeing, so that's Tess. And basically what you're seeing here doesn't look right because you don't have glasses on. Let me try the glasses on. I think even if we put this over one
lens over it, it will get one side of the image.
So I know that's not coming through very well. Oh my gosh, she looks completely 3D. I think reach. What? Ah! You go down the elevator. Oh, that's so funny. So it actually does work. I'm sure you would love to afford one of these, but they're extremely expensive.
Oh, she's going down again.
Okay, so we're done making fun of Tess now. I thought that, like, Michael is saying, Tess, get down.
I
Get
honestly,
down.
when that happened, I didn't realize if I was on the 3D camera yet, so I was kind of doing my own thing. And then they came and they're like, yeah, we've been watching you the whole time. I was like, great.
So here's some cool things. One is, vMix was saying a lot of people are doing 360 live streaming with vMix. We found out we can also do 3D live streaming with vMix. It's just such an open platform. It works so well for this kind of stuff. So that was 3D live streaming on a local area network. And then I think we showed that last week. And then this week was 3D live streaming to YouTube Live with a 3D capable display with 3D glasses. So that's how you were 3D. You were huge. You were like 10 feet tall.
I wasn't that huge, guys.
So that's just something fun.
It was fun, though.
That was fun.
And then Paul went in and did it. He actually left out
did
that
the
part.
dancing. I did the dancing,
He went in
too.
and did embarrassing dances, too.
So
Feel free to
do
find
embarrassing-
that on
yeah.
Matt's YouTube channel if you want to watch.
that is available on our engineers
Matt
YouTube
says I got
channel.
some moves. Thanks, Matt.
So that's, I guess, the show. We did everything we wanted to. There was 2 more branding quotes of the week that we didn't touch on, so I'll just throw them out there. From my man, Gary Vaynerchuck, who I'm going to meet at VidSummit.
Jealous.
I'm going to be live streaming at VidSummit.
Anyone go to VidSummit?
VidSummit's a show in Los Angeles. If you're in LA, check it out. It's first week in October, maybe second week in October. Here's the 2 quotes. No matter what you do, your job is to tell your story. And it no longer has to be a difference between who you are and what you do. So basically, whatever your passion is, do that. And one of the things you're going to see from us, whether it's on Streamgeeks or PTZ Optics, is we are going to spend a lot more time on the creative. Right? So you might have seen, here's how do you install 4 cameras in a courtroom. We just did a video like that with the DVE store. Or you might have seen, here's how you do 3 cameras in a church, right? And we took you through every step of the process. But since live streaming is growing so much, it's so many people, whether it's someone who wants to bake cakes, remember that lady? To
a makeup guru.
A makeup guru, who knows what it's going to be, right? So we're going to focus more on the creative. How can we tell the story in 45 seconds to reach a kid on a football team who wants to tell his coach that he'd like to have a live streaming show? Here, let me just I'll run one idea by you. And this is the kind of thing that telling the story, it's not the technology, it's the story, it's the solution. So here's one idea that we're going to work on. Imagine this, okay? A football player goes to his coach and says, hey, coach, are the college scouts going to be here? I really need that scholarship. And the coach says, I don't know, let me check. The coach checks his phone. Scout's out of town, can't make it. Can't fly out to the little, the kids' high school game. So what does he do? Oh, well, why don't we send him a link to the live stream? Okay, sends him a link to the live stream. Cut to the live stream. Cut to camera. Boom. Hey, coach, I got the scholarship. Within 30 to 45 seconds. So that kind of short, meaty content that could appeal to not techie streamers, but appeal to a 13-year-old kid on a football team who wants to get into college.
Right. Or more so to the athletic director that's thinking about implementing a live streaming system.
So, and the creative, the storytelling, that's what takes like the brain power. It's not an intuitive thing. It's really thinking hard and going through that. So Tess and I are going to be doing more. Maybe we should have a segment
called Live Brainstorming.
Yes. Oh, that would be cool.
Oh, gosh.
Brainstorm with us live. Because a lot of the people that we work with are in the live streaming industry, and we could all benefit from a little brainstorming.
I think so, too.
Not a bad idea. Brainstorming live. All right, so that's the show. I think we have a new segment.
All right, we can brainstorm
live. You
live.
To grow your show.
I was half kidding, but if you want to do it, let's do it.
That's a great idea. No, I love it. And I think the energy's so good. I think we had the good show. I say we just end on a bang.
All right, let's end on a bang.
Boom! Show's over, folks. Thank you so much for being here. I think we had a great show. Good job, Tess. Bam! Stream the fun. That was one idea for the show. And yeah. Bang!
Post show for Streamgeeks.
We're allowed to if we want.
We'll hang out for for a minute.
Yeah, well, let's see if we can do our brainstorming session with her.
Yeah, give us some inspiration, some ideas.
There's the Facebook user group. We're going to start. We can get some tips on Facebook user group stuff.
Yeah, drink lots of caffeine before a show. You'll be pumped.
I like the, we have to get, that's such a good outro,
I know,
too.
I
It
do
just
like
works.
I like the
Stream
orange,
fun.
weirdly enough.
I know, it works well. I don't know if that's like kind of the Streamgeeks
Thomas says
color.
no more coffee for Paul.
No more coffee for Paul. No.
He only has 1 cup a day.
One cup
I
a
drink
day,
more
but
caffeine than
it's-
him, and he's even more